Okie dokie. Remember that. There we go. So, what's up? You guys are here, which is great. I suppose that means you have questions over something, or shall I just go over things that I think are hard?
My only struggle was with the same one as yesterday. Or not yesterday, Monday. I'm not really sure if
It's not the right answer. Let's go over that. If you think it's hard, chances are most of the class thinks it's hard. A over 1 minus a t.
Mm-hmm.
For do either / both of you know how to do this one?
I did it, but I had to go look at my notes because it's like I understand how to do it, but when I'm given the problem, I just kind of get stuck.
Okay. Right. You need to be able to do these without looking at your notes, obviously. Xavier?
No idea.
No idea. Okay.
Wouldn't you multiply bottom, or so the quantity 1 minus at to both sides?
Sounds like a good start. Get rid of the fraction. Okay. Does everybody know what the question is asking? You've done it. Xavier, do you know what the question is asking? Do you know what it means when I say solve for A?
Isolate A.
Yes, basically. Yeah, sure. Good. Just had to check. Otherwise, it won't make any sense. Sure. So, that's step 1. What now? Xavier? Help me isolate A.
Not even slightly sure, man. Like, that's why.
Well, what can you do? Give me something. What does it look like you can do? Maybe should do. Just looking at this line.
Really not sure.
So this is multiplication, right?
Yeah.
So you should probably distribute, because if you don't distribute, you'll probably forget something or miss something or whatever. A t. D times 1 minus d times a t. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else? Help me isolate A.
What is negative there? So, what is?
Sure, A is negative there. How does that help me?
Means you just
Or at
divide
least this thing. Okay, that could work. Divide by A.
No. Because then,
No.
if A over A was B1, what is?
It would, yeah.
What was all
Well, I mean, the question would be bad if there were some way to just make A disappear. So if we divide by A, it's not going to disappear because, so if you divide the whole thing by A, the same as dividing each piece by A. That over A, that over A, that over A, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the A over here keeps you alive, keeps A alive. These all go away. You still have one. Minus T. That might be useful. Now at least we only have one A. That's helpful.
So can't you multiply the A to both sides and you'd get 1A, which is the same thing as
You're just going back here. Going back to this stuff. Okay. So we need to get A by itself. So we need to get rid of this TD over here.
A. Okay.
I'm gonna get rid of TD.
Add it
Add it.
to both sides.
Yes. Add it to both sides. So since we have 1 over A, at some point we're going to have to flip everything, right? We can do that now, or we can do it later. What do you think? Let's do it now. You can do anything you want, as long as you do it to both sides correct. So in this case, you can just flip both sides upside down. So D over A you can flip and you get A over D. But this side, you have to flip the whole thing. Just get 1 over all of it. Does everybody know that you can do that?
No.
Okay. If you don't know that you can do that, then you never want to put one of your variables on the bottom like this. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to solve things if you put your variable on the bottom. So, any ideas on how to isolate A? Assuming we get here, any ideas on how to isolate A?
Divide by D. Or multiply by D.
Multiply by D. Are you confused? Are you confused?
Wait.
No! Good! That's better than the answer I got from her.
Wait, so it wouldn't be D times. It wouldn't be like this?
It would be, but that's the same as D over 1 times 1 over 1 plus TD. And you can just multiply across.
Okay.
So, so,
Wait, I'm still confused.
yeah, let's,
Hold on.
okay, I think we should do it again, but not divide by A, because that seemed to confuse people. At least it seemed to confuse me, so let's not do that. So, we start with D equals A over 1 minus AT.
Mm-hmm.
A over 1 minus AT. Same story. You basically always want to get rid of fractions first. Almost no matter what you're doing, you want to get rid of fractions first. So, 1 plus AT. Now, what? This is repeat. So, Xavier?
Distribute.
Distribute. D minus. Do you distribute for me?
DAT.
Okay, let's not divide by a this time. What can we do instead? We want to get a by itself. So all the a's need to be on one side, right? Tiny nods, blank look, blank
You
look.
could add the 18.
Add DAT to both sides. Okay. The next step is the one that I consider the hardest. Does anybody know what to do? You have to take those two A's over there and turn them into one A.
You could take out the factor of an A from the right side.
A times DT plus. A lot of people have trouble factoring an A out of this. So remember that you can do that. People have trouble distributing, and this is distributing backwards. So it's more confusing. Does that make sense, Xavier?
Yeah.
Emily?
Mm-hmm.
Now what? Somebody finish it for me. Xavier, finish it for me.
Divide by dt plus 1.
And what do you know? You get the same answer, except I wrote everything the other way around the other time. But we get the same answer. My handwriting's terrible.
Wouldn't the D's wouldn't cancel out?
No, because this over this is not the same thing. This over this plus this. D over dt plus 1 is not the same as d over dt plus d over 1. Can't do that.
Oh, okay.
It's bad. You can do that with numerators, but you cannot do that with denominators.
Okay.
So your d's will not cancel. Does everybody sort of get that one? Maybe? Should I give you another similar one? A yes, a no? What do you think, Xavier?
Am I the tiebreaker?
Oh, I'm the tiebreaker. But what do you think? Do you think you should do another one? You personally. Do you think that you personally should do another one?
Sure.
Sure. I'm sorry. Let's say V is X over A plus 6 squared. Let's try that. I don't think that should be horrendously difficult. So, X. It'll be tricky, but hopefully not difficult. How shall we start?
Multiply by 8 plus x squared.
Always step 1. Good.
Distribute B.
We should factor that.
Factor what?
V out.
We just factored v in.
Mm.
Vx squared. Subtract Vx squared. on both sides.
Sure. So what's your plan with that? After you subtract vx squared, what do you want to do?
Factor out the x.
Factor out the x. But then it would be x times what?
1 minus the Vx. So we have to problem.
1 minus vx. So we have problems. I give you a square on purpose because problems. But you guys know quadratic equations, right? So how should we go about this? We should not go about it this way. Don't do that. Stick with this and then turn it into a quadratic equation that we know how to solve. Ideas? What do you want all quadratic equations to look like? They all have at least one thing in common.
X squared, or whatever squared is equal to 1.
Not all of them. Some of them have a different number.
Equal to 0.
Equals 0. Good. Please don't tell me this marker's going to be huge. So, how can we make this equal to 0?
Move the VA to the right side.
I'm going to rearrange things so that it looks a little bit nicer. And now we have a quadratic equation. Does everybody know how to solve quadratic equations? You're sure? Very important. Xavier, you're not giving me a yes. You're not giving me a no.
I'm not giving you either one right now, but I know how to do it. So.
You do? Okay, good. Okay. Give me the next step, and then we'll quit because it'll be awful after the next step. Because I get that things.
-1. I think. Would that be B? No, it's not. 1. No. I'm lost.
Okay.
It's negative.
Find A, B, and C.
B would be 1, right?
B would be 1. This is 1. This is B. Okay.
Yes.
What about A and C?
A, negative V.
A is negative V. C is what?
Negative V.
Negative V. Oh no. For a second I thought it was going to work out really nicely, but it's not. Okay. Now we have A, B, and C. Somebody, I guess Xavier, tell me the quadratic formula using these numbers.
Negative B.
What's B?
1. Plus or minus. Square root of B squared.
Which is
1. Minus 4AC.
which is
B squared.
good.
All over 2A. So B, negative 2B.
People don't usually write that when I write down the quadratic formula, but x equals. So because we're technically allowed to write that, we solved for x. Hooray! Does that make sense? Does that make way less sense than this one? or about the same? Or only a little bit less? About the same? Good. These questions are obnoxious. You just gotta learn how to move things around. I find these annoying because no matter what you do, you end up with the same thing you started with. That's the whole point. You just move things around and you don't get anything new. That's why. What else?
Can we go over number 10?
Oh yeah, of course. Number 10 is tricky. Cube root of x squared equals 100, right?
Yes.
We talked about this during class. What is the cube root of x squared?
What?
How can we rewrite the cube root of x squared? Oh, go away. We can rewrite the cube root of x squared in a different way.
X to the 2/3 power.
Yes. Yes. Which, just for the record, can also be written as, does anybody remember from class?
Cube root x to the second power.
Right. You can pull the square out. That's the key to this question.
Oh, it's so much more simpler.
Right. You know the answer now, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I do know the answer anyways, but it was more of a step process with the original. So cube root x squared rather than the cube root of x to the second power.
Do you guys see what she sees? You don't see why this is super easy all of a sudden? Okay. Try rewriting this like this. Anything? No? What are you guys trying? What are you trying to do? You wrote this down, right? This line here?
I already did this problem.
Oh, you know this one. Okay. So I should be focusing on that. Sure.
Could you first take the square root to get rid of the...
So that's how we take the square root of the left. That's easy. How do we take the square root of the right? What's the square root of 100?
That's right.
Forget that. Now what? cube root thing is giving me trouble, right?
Would you raise it to the 1/3?
This is raising to the 1/3. Cube root of x is the same thing as x to the 1/3. So you wouldn't raise it to the 1/3. Cube root. Anything else? Something similar. But like backwards. You have x to the 1/3, and you want it to be x, right?
Raise it to the cube.
Cube it. Cube root of x cubed is x. And then, hello. And then, what's the cube of the other side? How do you cube plus or minus 10? Cube plus 10, cube minus 10. You get something similar. 10 times 10 times 10.
Wait, okay. So it would be plus or minus 1,000?
Yes. Yeah. And you're done. All real roots, right?
Yeah.
All real solutions. Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's like cheating almost.
What is?
Write it to the 3rd instead of 1,000.
Wow.
It's correct. It's correct. Yeah, Rohit, you know how to do number, what, 10, right? 10? Also, yeah, good. So,
Yeah, but I think I was about
that's all you know? Okay.
the strictly what's gonna be on this, right? Or like similar questions.
Yes.
Okay. Cause
Is the letter F on this page anywhere?
letter F.
Outside of the word find.
Yeah, there's function.
There
Last
is.
page.
Yeah, last page.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yes, it'll just be what's on this practice test. I'm bored of blue. Let's go.
Other than that, is there any way like you could check over like my answers just so like when I like try to like redo the questions, I won't end up with the same wrong answer.
So basically, you just want me to tell you whether you did these right.
As long as you check the first page. So the first page is right.
Oh. Okay.
Besides this, I'll do this right now. The rest is on the back. Sorry. Right here.
Check your answer. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yes, that's all right. Nope. Yes. Yes. That's right. That. I don't want to check. It's probably right. I'll go back to it. Does anybody else have questions?
Yeah, can you go over number 15?
Number 15. Let's see if you did 15 right. check 15 is a group, I guess.
Okay.
15. The worst choice. 15.
You can go ahead and take it up with there.
X squared minus 4x. I got this. X squared minus 4x.
F of x is equal to 32.
Find where f of x equals 32.
Mm-hmm. This is find all real numbers, x, if any, that satisfy the equation f of x is equal to 32.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any idea how to start this? Maybe you're married, do you know this one? Okay. Do you have any idea where to start?
Can you do that x plus 4 parentheses, like x minus 4? Is that right?
Not quite. Because x plus 4 times x minus 4 would be x squared minus 4. Because x here. So you can't quite do that. Sorry, x plus 2x minus 2 will give you x squared minus 4. Tell me exactly what you want to do. You said x.
No, I don't think it's right now.
Okay, well, can you factor?
I don't think so. Can you just do the quadratic?
Well, how would you do quadratic if you don't have anything set equal to 0?
Oh wait, are you just plugging in 32 for x?
Definitely not for x. Find x.
So
Find.
is 32 equals x squared minus 4x? And then you can subtract 32, and then you can turn it to quadratic.
Yes.
So is quadratic what you're supposed to do? Can you not factor it?
Well,
You can factor it.
I mean, maybe. Let's find out. So, f of x, you said, what do you want me to do with this?
32 equals x squared minus 4x. Equals 0 equals x squared minus 4x minus 3.
Now you gotta factor this. Or see if you can factor this. Ah, yeah. That factors.
So if you do x minus 2 squared, like the whole thing squared,
Are you gonna complete the square? Is that what you're doing?
yeah,
X minus 2 squared.
you would get, yeah, so can you just add, like have a plus 28 or minus 28 minus 36?
So what you can do, you want it to be this. So you can say that this line, x squared minus 40 minus 4x plus 4 minus 4 minus 32. Because this means you added 0. And you can do that all you want. You can add 0 as many times as you want. So then that gives you x minus 2 squared, just like you wanted, right? Plus what? Minus what? This is x squared. Sorry, x minus 2 squared.
It's 36.
It's 36. Equals 0.
This is for x as well.
You did all the hard stuff. All the hard stuff is done. So, because you decided to complete the square, you don't use the quadratic formula. Instead, you bring the 36 back over. And it's super convenient because it's a perfect square, so you You take the square root.
So x minus 3 equals 6.
Close. X minus 2 equals,
Square root of 36.
which is,
Uh, is it not 6?
it's very close to 6. 2. Plus or minus 6. Never forget plus or minus. If you ever do one of these and you get one answer, you quite likely did something wrong.
What do you mean?
If you, quadratic. A quadratic will always, or any function will have this many solutions. Sometimes it has 2 of the same one. And you'll know when that happens because this will be 0. If x minus 2 squared was 0, then plus or minus 0 are the same number. So you don't have to worry. Here, what's x? Now you should be able to tell me what x is.
Plus or minus 8.
No. What's 6 plus 2? What is negative 6 plus 2?
What's
Negative 4. Yeah. Xavier, does that make sense? Questions? Would anybody like to do this using the quadratic formula instead? No? Other questions? Oh, I
Yeah,
said I
really
finished,
right
I
now.
finished checking yours. Here. Sorry. Oh, I didn't do the answers online.
You go over 6.
1 second. That's right. I think this is right. That looks right. That also looks right. So I think you're good.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. You said number 6? All one at a time. Does anybody else need help with 6?
I did 6, but I want to see the.
You want to see it again?
Yeah.
Xavier, do you want to see 6? Sure. Sure. Oh, I think it's right there. What's the first thing you always want to do when you see a whole bunch of fractions?
And this probably remember.
Yes. What's this coming out?
Quantity x minus 2 times quantity x plus 2.
Okay. Is that also the lowest common denominator for this? Yes. Yes.
I think you said
Were you guessing?
No, I wasn't. I was just.
Did you say quantity at minus 2 or
Trying.
Yeah. If you're reading off, parentheses are read as quantity. That is your least common denominator.
Thank you.
So, no problem. Thank you for coming. Now what? Now that we have that, what do we do?
multiply the top by it?
Multiply the top by it. What do you mean?
Well, okay, the way I saw it was like, it's 98 over x squared minus 4. So it's easier for me to see it if it's 98 over that what you have over there. So I think that would help him make you see it.
Well, I won't take that off. I will say that this is equal to 8. Does that make sense? So what do you want to do?
Multiply both sides by x squared minus 4, or which would be x quantity.
Right. Do you know what she's talking about?
Sorry.
Sort of. So you said multiply the top. And the reason I didn't say that was right is because if you multiply the top, then you're just, I mean, I guess you could multiply the top here, here, and here. But
Doesn't it?
that's right, but don't say multiply the top. You'd say multiply both sides of the equation. Because when you say multiply the top, I think you want me to say, all right, x times x squared minus 4 over x minus 2 plus x over x plus 2. That's what I think you mean, which is not correct.
But we are supposed to put the x squared minus 4 on the top side and it's over 1, right? And we multiply it. We're not multiplying the bottom. Like it's not
We multiply the whole thing.
But we're not multiplying it by 1 over x squared minus 4, we're multiplying it by x squared minus 4 over 1.
Yes. Yeah. That's what you mean. Okay, got it. Yes. Multiply by x squared minus 4. Which is this, right? I want to multiply by x minus 2 times x plus 2 instead. Because then it's obvious that x minus 2 divided by x minus 2 is, right? So I could say x times x minus 2, x plus 2 divided by x minus 2 is x times x plus 2. Does that make sense to everyone? I'm just saving myself a little bit of writing by doing that. I want to make sure that I don't confuse anyone. Because last time I tried to save writing and confuse someone by doing it. So what's the next one? What's this become?
X quantity x minus 1.
X quantity x minus 2. Okay, and the last one? And now I
Distribute.
distribute. What's this one? I shouldn't have done the first before you guys. What's the second one? What's the x times x minus 2?
X squared minus 4.
Okay. Now,
2x squared is 98.
2x squared equals 98. Yes. Xavier, you see that?
Divide by 2.
Squared. Squared.
What is x?
Plus or minus 7.
Plus or minus 7. Good. You remember this time. There you go. That's number 6.
Can you go over the second? Sorry.
So, oh, that is not bad. X squared plus 6x plus 5. How to find the y-intercept? That's the easy one, so I want to get that out of the way. How do I find it?
Set x to 0.
Set x to 0. Easy mode. What's the y-intercept? Okay. Cool. Now what? How do we find the x-intercept?
Set y to 0.
Y to 0. Oh.
3 solves the square.
Find x. You know how to do this one?
So, y dx plus 3. Y dx plus 3.
Whoa, what was that?
Y dx plus 3 squared.
No. If you do x plus 3, x plus x plus 3 squared is x squared plus 6x plus 9.
Yeah, so it's going to say minus 4.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. You're completing the square again.
That's what I don't know if that's the right way to approach it.
That is the right way to complete the square.
Is it the easiest way to approach this? Yeah, this.
That depends on whether or not you want to memorize the quadratic formula. Negative u plus minus square root of b squared.
I know what it is, because it has like square roots and like positive and negative, I end up figuring out it more often than the square. So, I don't know. I don't know or something.
You don't. What do you
Because a quadratic equation has like square roots and positive and negative, I usually end up tripping out on like what they say.
Okay.
So
Then complete the square.
is it
It is the same thing. The quadratic formula is just a shortcut to completing the square.
is it a shortcut? It always takes longer. I guess I'm wondering if I'm not approaching the
It's a
quadratic right.
shortcut. You learn the quadratic formula so that you never have to think ever again. You just like, I found A, B, and C. You vomit the formula on there, replace A, B, and C, and you get your answer.
But
If you complete the square, there's actually some thinking to do.
But completing a square when it doesn't actually, that's fine. Like, I can just start with -4 after it.
Yeah, like, as long as you, so you want x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 4. That's fine. 0 equals this. This is all true. These are all the same. So you can do that, and then grab this. You good with completing the square?
Yeah.
So, going back to what you said earlier, x plus squared minus 4. Now what? You seem to be tripping over the things that I think are easy. Now that you've got this, you get the square by itself, and you take the square root. So you just pop the 4 over here. I think completing the square is hard. I think this stuff is confusing. This stuff is what I get. So now what? This step here seems to be where you're struggling the most. The only reason we set it equal to 0 is because people like to use the quadratic formula. And if you're not going to use the quadratic formula, you don't actually have to set things equal to 0 if you're going to complete the square.
No, actually, I forgot you square rooted. I was trying to figure out how to get x plus 3 to equal 0. But it was before it said 0. If it equals 0, just be negative 2. So
Okay.
if we square root it, and then we get plus or minus 2. For x plus 3 equals plus or minus 2.
Good.
3, you get negative 1, negative 5.
2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Any questions, Mayor or Xavier?
I just had a quick question. I don't need you to work it out. It was just like to clarify. Like, you know how for this we multiply by this over 1. For this, you would find the common denominator, and then so you would technically be multiplying 18 by 5 and 5 by 5. So like everything would be multiplied with something different. Get another 3.5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thinking about it that way might confuse you. I don't know, it sounds like you get it. Yes, you're correct. Oh, because it's, okay. Yep, never mind. Ignore me.
You over 8. And the slope.
Number
Or you have slope equals negative 4. Has to use negative 4.
Number 8 is very easy if you know point slope. The point slope formula.
Is that y equals x plus b?
No.
Is that x2 minus x1 over y2 minus 1?
No. That's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1.
How do I know when I'm supposed to use this?
You look at what they give you. If they give you 2 points, you
And the slope?
no. If they give you 2 points, there's just 2 different points. You do the y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2 times things. If they give you the slope and the y-intercept, obviously you do y equals mx plus b. This is if they give you the slope at any point. This is true.
Does it work if you only know 1 point?
Yes. Any one point. They only give you 1 point in the question.
Yeah.
That's kind of what makes this useful. The way you do the other one, the one where you have y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, you take your 2 points, you find the slope between them, and then you do this, basically.
And when you have slope and intercept, that's when you do y equals mx plus b?
Yes. Y equals mx plus b is the preferred form because it's nice or something. But this one's really good for if you have a point and a slope.
So where does the point go? Is it y1 or y?
y1. This is this and this come from your point.
So the y1 is 1 plus negative 4 upon bx plus 1?
Probably. And negative 4. Yeah.
So would you solve for it one at a time? And y equals negative 4 upon bx plus 4 plus 1?
Yeah.
Is that the hard one? Or do you have to
You can simplify it. You can distribute your 4 and then simplify some. I don't know how. Professor Sazi doesn't seem to care about simplifying that much, but Don't leave something as like 2 over 4. Because that's just.
Could you check these?
Probably.
I suppose 15 times 12 is 19. Yeah, that should be right. Yes.
Are we gonna get activity 1, 2, and 3 back, or
I don't want to give you activity 3 because, well, actually, I guess today is people's last chance to work on it. So, I suppose. Wait while I throw these papers all over. You should already have activity 1. I should have already given
yeah.
that back.
are you gonna need this one back? Or
No.
no?
Yeah, I keep track of who hasn't finished it. So if I'm missing them, I assume you finished it. So that's fine. So that if I screw up, it's good for you.
Right, thank you.
No problem. You think you're good, Xavier?
Yep.
We'll,
So is this for? Is it like this?
you don't need to solve for x. No, you just want, this is y equals mx plus b. That's good enough. Question 7? 7? 8. Yeah, 8. Find an equation for the line. You would not do this. If it asks for an equation, always give me y. Because if it were find an equation for the line, if it were find the equation for something else, you might get x equal, you might get something like this. If you don't write it as y equals, you might get something like x equals y squared. Oh, that's not squared, y squared. Which looks something like this, which is not a function. Because it does not pass the vertical line test. So always write things as y equals, not x equals, unless you're solving for x. You have to go? Okay. Well, thank you for coming.
Do I keep
Hope it was helpful.
No, you can keep that. Okay.
I am glad I can be helpful.